Hey, you rock star, you. Hello. Welcome. Julianne Jones here, the virtual rock star. I am super excited about today because I'm doing something a little bit new. I'm going live. I'm simulcasting, so a couple different places. So I'm going to be managing a few different screens here. So just give me a second. There we go. Because I got to make sure I can see everybody's comments. If you're here and you're joining me, say hello, introduce yourself. If you want to tell us where you are joining us from, that's cool. Give me a thumbs up or a wave or whatever. Just say hi. It's been automatically lowered because the internal connection was... Oh, okay. Interesting. Sorry, I got a message from Ecamm telling me about my broadcast quality. So hopefully you guys can see and hear me. That's the goal. It looks to me like it's we're freezing a little bit here and there, so the simulcast might not be working, but we'll just have to see. I'm going to go with it. Hopefully we'll get a clean recording, and you can watch the replay, even if there's a little bit of a lag happening here and there with the live video. Maybe I'll do this. Let me do this. I'm going to shut that down. Yes, leave. Okay. So that might help if I'm only actually looking at one of the simulcasts at a time. I decided to go ahead and go live on my Facebook page this time because the group is private and that means it limits my audience. And I thought that maybe some of the folks out there in the Facebook business page world might want to know too. So cool. So I think that has helped. I shut down one of those streams. I should probably have my my other computer here, but that's cool. I can go and check messages here and there. And if you want to leave a comment, say hello. Hi, Kathy. Good to see you. Hey. Goes in and out. Okay, so I think I might have fixed it, Kathy, hopefully. I'm going to take a sip of water. Apparently, my computer couldn't handle two different browsers, two different live streams at the same time. I think I fixed it. It looks like I'm working well now. So today we are going to talk about the summer and working in the summer. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see. Couple quick things. If you're live on Facebook, go ahead and click on the link in the description. Never mind, you don't have to do that. I'm watching. Never mind. Looking at old notes. I got to take that out of there. Click on the Get Reminders if you want to get reminders when I go live, which is really cool. There should be something that says share this with your friends as well, which is another reason I wanted to go live on my business page, because that way, even if your friend isn't in the Facebook group, you can share this with them. So that would be awesome as well. If you are watching the replay, either on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or anyplace else, I share it. Comment below. I'm always happy to answer those questions, and I'll check those too. So in case you don't know who I am, briefly, Julianne Jones, the virtual rock star. I refer to myself as a badass, no BS business mentor. My goal is really to support you if you are a coach, therapist, creative in any way, and you would like to take your business online via an online course or program, whether you have that now or not, and aren't sure how to do that, aren't sure where to begin, or maybe overwhelmed with the thought of everything that entails. And my superpower is to support you in cloning yourself into an online program, creating that program, and then also going through the entire launch process so that you get it out into the world and actually start impacting more clients in less time and making more money and scaling your income. That's what I'm about. I'm also really passionate about transparent marketing. And that's something that I've been talking with several people about over the weekend, because I posted something in a couple of groups over the weekend about just really being fed up with bullshit marketing that, baits and switches, and I just have never been into that. So that's another thing I'm pretty passionate about talking about and sharing. So anyway, on this live today, I'm going to talk about 5 tips for maintaining your sanity during the summer and also successfully working so that you get to September and you have still have a business that's thriving. Especially if you have kids. I'm going to talk a little bit about working around your kids this summer, but these tips really do apply to everybody, even if you don't have kids still living at home like I don't. Summer is really a magical time, and the days are longer, the weather's nicer, and I don't know about you, but I just naturally want to be outside or anywhere other than my office in the summertime. And there's also kind of this summer mentality where you just sort of feel like, in the summertime, I don't feel like I should have to work, because when we were in school, we never did. So thanks, Kathy. I'm glad it's better. So I have that summertime mentality. So how do you maintain your business, especially if you work at home, and still have a fun, successful, amazing summer? I'm going to give you 5 tips for doing this. The first one I'm going to share is probably the most important. and that is to let go of the guilt. So you're never going to get to spend as much time as you want if you have kids at home, especially with your kids, or your friends or your family during the summer. Because like I said, if you're like me, I'd love to just take 3 months off, just like I used to get when I was in school, and not have to worry about work. And a lot of people, I think, allow themselves to really feel guilty about that. So I want you to think about this for a second from a different perspective. If you had a real job, right, like a 9-to-5 job where somebody gave you a W-2 at the end of the year, and you worked for someone else, you couldn't just take 3 months off to spend with your kids and enjoy the summer. That isn't realistic. And if you think about that fact, even though you might not be spending every waking hour with your kids or getting to do all the things you normally do in the summer, at least you're self-employed and you're in a place where you have the flexibility to be able to do that if you want to. I know for me, that's one of the best things about being self-employed. Freedom is one of my highest values, and being able to choose when I work, when I take time off, is huge for me. And so you have some flexibility, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a second. So think about letting go of the guilt. Don't feel like, because you're not able to give all of your time and attention to your kids or to the summertime activities that you'd like to, that in any way you should feel guilty about that. You have a job. It just happens to be a job where you work for yourself. Okay, so just like if you were going to a 9-to-5 job, think of this in those same terms and let go of that guilt. Now, the second tip I'm going to share is really around that, and that is about modifying your schedule. So your normal, other than summer schedule, school year schedule if you have kids, probably isn't going to work in the summer. And you're probably going to have to modify that. And that's really just a fact. So you're not going to be able to work as many hours probably, at least not during the day. And you're probably not going to have, as many opportunities to have that silence, especially during the day if your kids are home. So you have to kind of get creative. If you generally make calls in the afternoon, and you know that your kids are heading to swimming lessons or something like, Bible camp or whatever in the summer, in the mornings for a few weeks, then modify that and change your plan so that you're making those calls in the mornings instead. I always looked for the times when there was peace and quiet when my kids were at home. I have 2 sons. They're grown and gone now, but I was a single mom from the time they were pretty little, actually before my youngest was even in preschool. And, I always joke, I knew exactly when Blue's Clues came on because that was my kids' favorite show, and they would always sit for 30 minutes. I knew I had 30 uninterrupted minutes when I could do something, and focus on my business. Now, I didn't use the TV as a babysitter. We monitored screen time. They only got a certain amount. But there were certain pockets in the day that I knew I could carve out. So look at your schedule. Plan on being more flexible regarding when you work. And realize that things might need to change on a moment's notice. Believe me, as someone who coaches almost all female entrepreneurs for a living, I always completely understand if one of my clients asks to reschedule at the last minute because something has come up with their kids. Okay, so just give yourself the grace to change your schedule. Okay, so that's the second thing. Third, I want you to think about focusing on quality and not quantity. Okay, so especially if you have kids, you're probably not going to be able to work as many hours during the summer. So make the time that you are spending in your office, a lot more productive. And that's really an essential part of this. Make a plan at least once a week, if not every day. Like write that out, sit down, figure out what you're going to work on, what you're going to be doing, and decide ahead of time what your priorities are and what's going to get your time. Okay, so if you get all of the big projects or commitments out of the way, you can always focus on leftovers. But what I personally found, and this applies for any time of the year, if I don't have a plan, I start with the little stuff, and the big projects never get done because it's much easier to be distracted by all the little stuff and never just put your head down and get those big projects done. So I think this is a really great time to sort of hone your business systems as well, and it can really be a gift in a lot of ways. I'm going to be teaming up with 7 other amazing female entrepreneurs next week. Hopefully. We're working on getting it together this week, so stay tuned. And we're going to bring you some really incredible free tools that are going to help you grow your online business. We are calling it the Online Business Toolbox Business Boost. And it's essentially designed for you to get a ton of great tips literally no strings attached. And when I say that, I mean it. We're not selling you anything. We're literally all just getting together to say, how can we reach more people with a ton of great content? So watch this space if you're on the page here or the group for more information, or click on the link. I'm going to put a link in the description for this at the end for you to get on my mailing list so you don't miss that, because that'll be going out everywhere, but I'll be emailing as well. One more thing about this whole concept of focusing on quality and not quantity. Make sure that you are present when you're spending quality time with your friends or your kids or your family. This goes for all the time, but especially in the summer. And you're not supposed to be working. So if you've said, okay, this is your time now, you have to really be present. And I really want to encourage you not to be constantly allowing yourself to be interrupted by answering your cell phone or checking email. Trust me when I tell you, your family and friends hate that. And they're going to resent it and you if you do it. So really unplug, give them your attention when you're spending time with them. I learned this lesson when my late husband had cancer, especially at the end of his cancer journey, because I really stopped to ask myself, what's more important? And obviously that brought it into really clear, crisp focus because, he only had a few weeks to live. But I took that lesson with me after he died. And I'm really conscious now of not working when I'm not supposed to be working. When I'm with my family or friends, or I'm doing an activity that's not work related, I shut it down. I don't check my email. I'm not, answering, questions or messages or whatever. I'm really truly being present. And that's an important thing for you to remember. I'm going to look and see who is here. Emily, hi, welcome. I need to go over and also look in my other group. I think I better let me just switch this. I really wish I would have brought my laptop up here, but I did not. So we're just going to go with it. We're good to go. Let me see if I have any comments over here on the Facebook. There we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's several people watching in the group too. Oh my gosh. Okay, it looks like the comments are going between. It looks like I have one stream with all the same comments, so that is good to know. This is new technology for me, you guys. I'm using something called Ecamm, and yeah, cool. Okay, so I don't need to worry about it. I can broadcast once, not have the issues with the streaming, and I can see all your comments. Cool. Is this resonating with you guys? Tell me how you're feeling. There's 4 or 5 people on. I'd love to know if the first few tips I've shared make sense to you. If if this is something that you think you might modify to do differently in your business over the summer, give me your feedback. There is a bit of a delay, so I always drink at this point and wait. Okie dokie. Cool. Let's move on to the 4th tip I'm going to share with you. You want to work with your natural rhythms. And as I'm reading these, I'm realizing that there's a lot of these that really are specific to not just specific to summer, but really work all the time. But these were the things I thought of as I was thinking of my summer and how that's going to look and how I want to kind of reframe the way I work. So 4, work with your natural rhythms. This is really great advice, but I think that it definitely applies in the summer. So being an entrepreneur allows you to create your own schedule. And you get to work during the most productive times for you. And in the summertime, that might change. So maybe the rest of the year, you like to work in the evenings. But in the summertime, that doesn't really work for you because it doesn't get dark until 9:30. And you'd rather be outside or doing something else. So is that still going to work for you? And if not, then just find a way to move those normal nighttime hours to a different time of the day. I know for myself, I don't work well in the evenings. I'm a morning person. I'm up, by 6 a.m. every morning. I get all my stuff out of the way. I work out and, do all my mindset work and everything in the morning because that's when I'm at my best. And if I have client calls, I usually schedule them before 1 or 2 in the afternoon. If I'm working on a project, I schedule at that time early on. And that, for me, works really well. I know some people that is not their rhythm. My significant other is not a morning person. He works better in the evenings and, afternoon and evening. So think about that for yourself and, get really clear about what works for you and then adopt that. So I'll give you another example. I personally stopped booking appointments on Fridays about 3 months ago. And I did that because, I still work on Fridays, but it's a lot more flexible day for me. And I can really get up. I can get up early. I can get a bunch of stuff done, and I can take the rest of the day off. Because for me, for whatever reason, Fridays I have this innate feeling that Fridays are sort of the third day of the weekend. I don't really feel as motivated or productive on Fridays. I don't think I'm at my best on Fridays as far as, coaching. And it's just because I'm feeling itchy to get into the weekend and out of the office. So I modified that. And I don't work with clients on Fridays. I do some work. I do, things here and there. But for the most part, I don't. So that's number 4. Make sure that you're really working with your own natural rhythms. And if you're not doing that now, if you tend to fight against the times that you have to work, I would really encourage you to think about that and modify your schedule. That's one of the other beautiful things about being self-employed, is you can make those adjustments. And then finally, number 5, create some accountability for yourself. Okay, so print out your schedule, hang it in a community place in your home, like your refrigerator, and then gather your family around that and let them know that this is your summer schedule and that you're as committed to not working during the times that are not listed as you are to working during the times that are listed there that you've outlined. Okay, so I love this concept, because what happens then is you're not only being really clear with your family, but you're setting up some accountability for yourself, especially if you're really brave and you ask your kids to help hold you accountable by giving them permission to ask you to stop working if they catch you in your office during a time when you're not supposed to be working. Believe me, kids love to be accountability partners. They love to catch you doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, and they will definitely call you on it, especially if you ask them to. So for me, this was great. And I mean, my little boy used to love it. When Eli was little, he would come in and say, "Mom, you're working. You're not supposed to be working." We color-coded it before he could read, so he knew the times, and it really, really does work. The other thing I want to share, and this is a sort of a time management piece, if something comes up that needs you or needs your attention, or that you need to do during a time that you've scheduled to work, and that's going to happen, I think, a lot more in the summertime, especially if you do have kids. Something comes up, they want to ride here, they want to do this, it's a beautiful day, and everybody wants to go for Slurpees or to the pool or whatever. It's great for you to have the flexibility to say, yeah, I'm going to do that. Even though I had on my schedule to finish this project, I'm making a choice to do this instead. And that is 100% awesome, and you should do that. Here's the problem that happens, though, if you don't pay yourself back that time. Really, in essence, if you've made a plan especially, you're borrowing that time from yourself. If you don't pay it back at some point in the next 5 days, you're going to find yourself getting behind, and that's when people start feeling overwhelmed, and it's really, really, that can create a lot of problems. So taking time off when you want to, even if you have something else scheduled, is not the problem. That's actually fine. The problem is if you don't go to your calendar right then and there and reschedule that time at a time in your calendar for the next 4 or 5 days when you will get to it and get it done, so you stay on top of things. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. Really important. Perfect. So anybody have any questions about this? Is this resonating with you? Let me find you guys again. There you are. Kathy, it drives me crazy when my company sets up promotions during holidays to pull you from your family. Right, I agree with that. The reason they do that, though, Kathy, and it makes sense, is because they know that holidays, the first of the year, summertime, especially like August, are challenging times in your industry because people are focused on other stuff. And so they want to give you all these incentives to get people motivated to take action with you. But I agree. And that's why I think it's important to set up those limits for yourself, to have those things in place so that, you're showing up at the time you're showing up, and that's not going to change anything. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to do a quick recap, okay? And I even have some visual aids to help with this. Number 1, let go of the guilt. It's okay for you to treat your job like a real job and to not feel like you have to feel guilty because you can't all of a sudden alter everything to spend more time with your family just because it's summer. So let go of the guilt and give yourself permission to be okay with that. Number 2, modify your schedule. Go ahead and modify your schedule because things are probably going to be different in the summertime, especially if you have kids. So look at the times in your day when you know that you're going to have some flexibility and your kids are going to be occupied or whatever, and use that time for the work that you need to get done. Okay? Number 3, focus on quality, not quantity. Okay, so what can you get done around the bigger projects? And that is going to require some planning so that you're looking at your projects, you're mapping them all out, and you're making a plan so that you're really clear about what needs to happen. And then schedule time to get that done and focus on the big chunks before you focus on the little things. Like I said, if you have time left over, you can always, go spend it on those things. Number 4, make your work time. Whoops, that's not it. Sorry. There we go. Create accountability for yourself. That was an old tip. Sorry about that. Create accountability for yourself so that you are absolutely holding yourself accountable and you're working specifically during the times that you have said you're going to work. And not only that, but share that with your family and ask them to help hold you accountable as well. I think that that's really, really powerful. Was that 5? Did I miss one? Let me make sure. Oh, work with your natural rhythms. That's the one that I missed. I should have changed that. Work with your natural rhythms. So the number 4 was work with your natural rhythms. And what that means is that you're going to look at the way you work and see if that works for you still in the summertime. See if that works for you, as you step into this sort of different season. And again, this applies for your whole year. And like I said, I quit working on Fridays because it just never really, I feel like I should have that day off. I still work, but I feel like I should have that day off. So that's pretty much all of the tips I wanted to share with you. If you are feeling, bottom line, that summer's always been challenging and it makes it harder to work and you're just going to maybe take the whole summer off, don't do that. I want you to have a business to come back to in September. And the only way you're going to do that is by managing things, maybe using some of the tips I shared to change things up so that your summertime still works for your business as well as your family. You can manage both the modified schedule that summer brings, whether you have kids or not, and still continue to grow your business. So take advantage of all the free things that I share in the group. And if you're not in the group yet, I'll put a link to that above when I'm done here as well. Also, remember the Online Business Toolbox Business Boost is coming up next week. That's going to have a ton of great tools for you, and you'll have more information. I have a 3-day challenge happening later this month that I'll be doing, and I'm going to be talking about a really simple system for launching your program or product. Or a membership program if that's what you're looking at. We're going to be talking launches this month, and that's going to happen later in the month. So all those things are coming up. If you're not a member of the group yet, I'll put a link above so you can click on that. If you do need some of my one-on-one support in your business, I give away 3 map out your online program in 30 minutes or less assessments every single week. Those are not sales calls in any way, shape, or form. It's my way of giving back to my community. I love doing those, getting to know you better, and I promise you, we actually don't have time to talk about anything other than what you need during that call. If you say to me at the end, how can I work with you? We schedule another call. So it's totally no pressure, completely focused on you. How often does that happen? So I'm going to share the link to that on the page here. There's that appointment. If you're interested in getting on my calendar, you can click on that. It'll show you the dates I'm available. And we're good to go. I hope that this has helped you guys today. I do my best to keep these to 15 minutes, but this was a lot to cover. So plus we had a few tech issues, which when doesn't that happen? Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions at all or comments, please leave them in the comment section. If you want to tag me, just make sure I see it. That might be a good idea. I'm happy to support you going forward. I'll come back and look at the comments, and I hope you guys are having a fabulous Monday today. It's a beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest. I hope you have a fantastic week. Go out and make it a great day. Bye-bye.